check out our streaming schedule for this week. We've got tons of content in terms of the NFL and college football, as we're going live just about every single day this week. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single moment where we go live. And now, on with our feature presentation. January 11, 2025. It's the wildcard round, and we head to Baltimore for an AFC North rivalry clash between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. For the Steelers, this has been a bit of a tumultuous campaign to get to this point, as they enter the postseason as one of the coldest teams in NFL history. Not since the 1986 New York Jets have we really seen a team look this bad heading into the biggest games of the year. The Steelers started the season off 10-3, but enter this game riding a 4-game losing streak, completely choking the division away and collapsing, forced to play on the road as a result of their ineptitude, largely stemming on the offensive side of the ball. The Steelers have no momentum whatsoever on their side, and most people expect the Ravens to win this one, barring a coaching masterclass by Mike Tomlin. As you can probably expect, however, based on Mike Tomlin's history in the playoffs in recent years, and based on the scrutiny Tomlin's gotten, and rightfully so, that did not even come close to happening. But before I talk about why that was the case, if you want to learn more about some of the other dumb stuff that has happened throughout the history of the wildcard round, and even Mike Tomlin's tenure in Pittsburgh, then this is the place for you, because we talk about all things NFL history all the time with a new video and a new live stream every single day. So if you like that sort of stuff, then be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we post on the channel. Thanks in advance for your support as we try and hit 70,000 subscribers. So far in this one, the Steelers find themselves down 7-0, with the defense having been on the field for just about the entirety of the game. Pittsburgh had picked up 1 first down all day, and the Ravens have dominated the time of possession despite having 1 less drive than the Steelers. Pittsburgh's defense is absolutely gassed, so it is critical that you do not go 3 and out and put the defense back on the field quickly. And there's both good and bad news for the Steelers here. The bad news is that after a 3rd and 2 play, where Pat Freiermuth just forgot to extend the ball for some reason, the Steelers are faced with 4th down. I mean, there's no excuse for this. Have to know where the first down line is. Just reach that ball out, man. The good news, though, is that even though it's 4th down, you're right on the 30. And you need to get to the 30 to get the first down and keep the drive alive. This is an obvious go-for-it situation. Even though it's early and you're in your own territory, this screams go for it. All you've got to do is fall forward, and you have the first down easily. So with that in mind, the Steelers send Russell Wilson out there to do what he's been good at all year, and just fall forward for the first down, keeping the drive alive, keeping the Steelers defense off the field, and keeping the Steelers moving.
So they're going to punt with 4th and inches, and Waitman lets the punt.
Oh my God, Mike Tomlin is a coward. Mike Tomlin is a freaking coward. Mike Tomlin has no feel for the game. Mike Tomlin, I've run out of adjectives for him to describe this play. This is insane. Yeah, this is going to backfire. We all know it. Just play the clip.
12 plays and 11 runs.
12 plays. Well, and runs on every play. Can he get to the end zone? He can, Derrick Henry.
Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before we break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. Look, what Tomlin's done with the Steelers is undeniably impressive. To not have a season with a losing record in your first 2 decades is nothing short of remarkable, especially considering the quarterback play he's had for some of those seasons and some of the locker room distractions he's had in that stretch. But man, it is time for a change because something is not working. I'm not saying Tomlin needs to go, although decisions like this don't help his cause. But the Steelers are stuck in mediocrity, and they need to blow it up and start over to have any real chance at competing for a title again. And Mike Tomlin is definitely a part of the problem. I don't know how big of a problem, but he is definitely part of it. He's made some absolutely bizarre and weird conservative coaching decisions when the game does not call for it whatsoever. And the bottom line is that the man has not won a playoff game since Barack Obama was in office. And he's responsible for that in many ways. This decision to punt the ball instead of going for it, we need an inch, embodied the last decade of Mike Tomlin in so many ways. Absolutely cowardly at the worst possible time. So with that being said, let's take a look at why punting the ball on 4th and a centimeter is a really bad idea. And I know what you might be thinking. Come on. The ball was at their own 29-yard line and it was the second quarter. Isn't this a little bit of an overreaction? And the answer to that is no. No, it's not. You've got to recognize the situation at hand. And the situation said that your defense was absolutely gassed. Baltimore was running the ball down your throat for the entire duration of the first 2 drives. There are times when playing the field position battle works, and where that's the smart thing to do. This was not one of those times, especially seeing as your defense had allowed a whopping 129 yards in their first 2 drives, with a lot of that coming on the ground, and seeing as the Ravens were on the field for a good chunk of that. Obviously, if you get the first down here, it's not as though you're in field goal range or anywhere close to scoring, because you're at your own 30-yard line and need to go a fair distance to even think about scoring. But getting a first down gives your defense something that they've had no opportunity to get all day, and that is a breather. You give your defense a rest. Your defense have been on the field practically the entire game, and seeing as you went 3 and out on the last drive, a 3 and out here with the way the Ravens were playing offensively and were dominating the time of possession would be absolutely detrimental. You know when you're working out and you feel like you have no chance at completing the next set because you feel like you're going to pass out and you're feeling dizzy and you're seeing dots? Try taking a 5-minute break and getting some water, and you'll usually feel a bit better. Try pushing through and getting straight into it, and it's not going to end well, I can promise you that. And it would be different if this was 4th and 2 or 4th and 1. Obviously, you've got to be smart about this. I'm not saying to go for in every situation to avoid going 3 and out in back-to-back drives. That is asinine. But this was maybe a centimeter. The yellow line is usually unofficial, but not in this case, seeing as the drive started at the 20-yard line off a touchback. So the 30-yard line gets you a first down. The nose of the ball by the time it snapped is practically on the 30. If you don't trust your guys to get a push and get the centimeter that you need to get a first down, then what are we doing here? Honestly, what are we doing at that point? You trust your defense to get a stop where they're completely gassed and where they've been on the field seemingly every minute for the last half hour, but don't trust your offense to just fall forward? And it's not like Russell Wilson is good at quarterback sneaks or anything like that. Oh wait, he's pretty freaking good at this. Is he Jalen Hurts on the tush push? Of course not. No one is. But he's going to get it more often than he won't. Way more often than he won't. What you're watching right now is a compilation of the situations where Russ called his own number on a sneak in a short-yardage situation this season. And you'll notice the fact that a lot of these situations work and pick up the yard that you need. Again, if this was a full yard and there's a legitimate chance of the Ravens defense to get a stop, okay, I get it. Especially from inside your own 30 in a one-possession game. But in this spot, I'm not even sure it's a matter of being aggressive to go for it here, so much as it is just the logical thing to do, considering the flow of the game, how easy it is to convert, and how gassed your defense is. I know Russ isn't necessarily good for a lot of things these days in his old age and his semi-washed state, but he's good for stuff like this, I know that much. And the message it sends to your players to not go for it, and to say that you don't trust your guys to pick up what is, in essence, one singular centimeter by just falling forward, is telling. It is absolutely telling. If you've got 2 options, and option 1 is to give the ball back to the other team with your defense completely gassed, and option 2 is to try a play to not have to do that, with said play having a ridiculously high success rate and being about as safe can be, then yeah, I'm taking that second option, and I'm not looking back, especially seeing as you literally had an inches to go situation earlier in the contest on the first drive, and guess what? You converted. But you didn't want to convert here for some reason. You didn't want to trust your offense. This game really highlighted what might be the game passing Mike Tomlin by, and why it might be time for a change. This wasn't the only thing that Mike Tomlin did this game. Far from it. You saw the Ravens have a situation like this later in the game, and they didn't hesitate or think twice about it. They went for it and picked up the first down with ease. Because more often than not, when you need an inch, you're going to get the first down if you call a sneak, simply because it is so tough to stop. You saw late in the game when Mike Tomlin just refused to call his timeouts for some reason. Even so much as letting the clock run inside 2 minutes before calling his first timeout. Despite me repeatedly saying over and over again why you shouldn't do that and how you waste plays in the process. Genuinely, I think Mike Tomlin forgot he had timeouts at one point, because the amount of time he was letting off the clock inside the final 5 minutes made little sense. You saw the bizarre timeout he called with the Ravens facing 3rd and short and being more than willing to take the game into the half. I guess he trusted his defense to get the ball back, despite the risk being so ridiculously high. You saw what felt like so many instances of this man right here just waving the white flag and not knowing what to do, coaching as if he was a deer in headlights. And there was no better example of that than punting the ball in this spot in the second quarter. In a nothing game, I'm not making this video. If you got stuffed on 3rd down on a similar play, not making this video. With a well-rested defense, I'm not making this video. But if there was ever a spot based on the flow of the game and based off of literally everything to say go for it inside your own 30-yard line in the first half, this was that spot. This was that freaking spot. And Mike Tomlin just didn't do it for some reason. He didn't trust his guys to get what wasn't even a foot, and he trusted his defense, despite no evidence whatsoever to prove otherwise, to stop the best rushing offense in NFL history, despite being completely and utterly gassed, and despite being on the field for what felt like the entirety of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And it ended in incredibly predictable fashion. That is, predictable fashion to everyone but the man who made the call. And as if this wasn't crazy enough, what's even crazier about the situation in the game between these two teams behind me right here is that after the game, no one, not one singular reporter, asked Mike Tomlin in his post-game presser about what the heck he was thinking by calling that play and by punting the ball away on 4th and a centimeter, knowing that his defense was gassed and knowing what happened afterwards, even though we all knew that this was going to backfire in spectacular fashion. It was almost as though Mike Tomlin was invincible in the eyes of the media. This was the play that set the tone for the entire game. This was the play that left everyone scratching their heads the moment it happened, from Steelers fans to Steelers, just everyone was scratching their heads about this play. And for whatever reason, the media let Tomlin off the hook with this one. No idea why, but that might be even worse than the decision by Tomlin himself to punt the ball away in that spot. So what do we learn from all of this? If you need an inch, then take the inch. If you don't trust your offensive line to pick up one measly inch, then you should not be in the playoffs and you should not be coaching in the playoffs. It's that simple. If your defense is absolutely gassed and has shown no signs of slowing down the opposition, then don't send them back out on the field if you don't have to. If you can give them a little bit more of a breather, then by God, do it. Especially when you can do it by calling a near automatic play that you've run well all season. If you're getting creamed in the time possession battle, and you have a chance to change that with the odds significantly in your favor, then you should probably do that. And maybe, just maybe, the standard isn't good enough anymore in 2025. Maybe it's time to reevaluate everything in Pittsburgh. Maybe that time was years ago, but it's especially true after this game and after this coaching disaster class by this man, highlighted by this atrocious decision that set the tone for the entire game and another early Steelers playoff exit. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Be sure to like and subscribe if you have not done so already, as it helps the channel out a lot. And check out my other channels, JG8 for the history of college football, JG7 for the history of baseball, and JG9 News, where we talk about all things happening in the NFL. Join me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we'll play live NFL trivia for cash prizes. And make sure to join me live, as we're on stream just about every single day. And thanks to all our Patreon members and our YouTube members for helping out the channel. See how you become a member and show your support financially in the description down below.